What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the PICK6 podcast. I'm your host, Musa here. I'm with my guy, Mike, today. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. Getting closer to the Christmas holiday. We got a special episode for you guys today. Normally, we're live for college football on Wednesdays. Considering the holiday, we decided to go live today on Monday for you guys. We got a stacks segment for you guys today. We're going to talk about the college football playoff. We got some interesting transfer portal news. We got some unfortunate news for Georgia fans, depending on how you want to take it. And then we're still gonna give you guys our NFL power rankings. So, and I almost forgot, we got a special college football edition blind rankings list I have for the panel once everyone else joins the show. But first things first, Mike, we're gonna talk about the unfortunate news. It's been reported about almost an hour ago now that Carson Beck is going to be out for the college football playoff. He just went over successful surgery on his elbow for the injury he suffered in the last game. It's unfortunate news, but I think Gunnar Stockton's going to be able to hold down the fort. Carson Beck is expected to start throwing again in the springtime of 2025, so that's at least some good news for him and for potential drafters who wants to potentially draft him, bring him onto the organization if he declares for the draft. But Mike, I would love to hear your thoughts on this situation with Carson Beck and how that may affect Georgia moving forward.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to Georgia's defense. They're gonna have to win every game in this playoff, just like how they won the SEC championship game against Texas. You're gonna have to have a good old-fashioned SEC rock fight where if you can't let that other team score 20 points, you're gonna have to win like say 16-13, 16-12, 17-13, something like that. But with Stockton, he does have the passing ability, and I think it'll look better this time out now that he's had first-team reps now for probably about 3 weeks, where he probably wasn't getting them before with Beck being there. But he really opens up that offense in the running game because Carson Beck does not have that running ability whatsoever. So I think Georgia will probably be able to get past Notre Dame because Riley Leonard, he when he's gone up against some real tests, it has been all that great to say the least. And after the injuries at Duke, he hasn't been the same quarterback. And you talk about Carson Beck's draft stock as well. Look at Jordan Travis last year for Florida State. That guy was going to be a first to second round pick. He has the leg injury, and I think he ended up going in the 6th round, I want to say. I know Buffalo ended up taking him, but you look at Carson Beck, all the interceptions he's thrown and the rough year, he's still had some good games, but he's went from being the number 1 overall consensus pick, which was stupid in the first place. I know most people who watched him didn't think that, including us. And he's gone down to a 3rd rounder before this injury. If he, as I said a few weeks ago, you can become the number 1 or number 2 quarterback taken in the draft with a good playoff, like Dylan Gabriel could. I know Drew Aller's going back to Penn State next year, and Quinn Ewers, I assume he'll stay in college next year, seeing he hasn't had the best year with the injuries, because as of last year, he looked like he was going to be the consensus number 1, but I'm curious to see how far Beck falls with this injury. I don't think it's going to help his case, so we could even see him go just like Travis into the 4th or 5th round.
I agree. I think this is maybe a good thing for Georgia in the sense of, and we're going to get right into it right after this. Going into the college football playoff, you got most of your tape on Carson Beck and how you have your defense scheme around that. We do know he's having a rough year this year. But that being said, though, it's a good spot for Georgia because now you could put in your backup in Gunnar Stockton. There's not a lot of tape on him. So now you can kind of try some different things out. And to your point, he is more mobile than Carson. So when things aren't open, receivers ain't getting separation, he can use his legs to kind of create some off balance plays where he can get a scramble for 5 to 10 yards, or probably get out the pocket and get a deep pass if a corner DB collapse. So I think that works in their favor. It also improves their running game, of course, which opens up the play action and things of that nature. And especially with the matchup they have in the second round, I really do like their chances. But speedy recovery for Carson Beck. Hopefully, he can sit and get drafted to a team where he doesn't have to play. I'm not that high on him, but that doesn't mean he can have a successful NFL career. He's more likely will be a backup to start. But again, praying he has a speedy recovery after having his surgery earlier today on the elbow. For those watching, man, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Definitely leave your comments. We love to hear you guys' thoughts on the Carson Beck situation, as well as if Georgia's going to be taking a hit or might be even better without him for this playoff run. Moving forward, we're going to get right into the college football bracket, the updated bracket. Let me share my screen right now. The quarterfinals, the Elite Eight is set.
Elite's a strong
Here's
word.
my screen. Yes, it is. It is a strong word, especially considering what we watched in the first round, which we're going to dive into that in just a moment after we give our thoughts on this. So, here, as you see, the quarterfinals is set. We have Texas going up against Arizona State. By the way, for those watching who aren't familiar with the college football playoff, at this point in the bracket, in the quarterfinals, there is no home field advantage. Everything's on even playing site, which if you guys got to watch the first round, home field advantage played a huge part in some of those games, if not all of them. But nonetheless, we have Texas going against Arizona State. We have Ohio State getting their rematch against Oregon from earlier in the season. We got Penn State versus Boise State, and we have Notre Dame going up against Georgia. Mike, I'll let you hear your thoughts on this quarterfinals as far as the matchups. What are you most excited to see? And then we could kind of indulge into the first round results.
Yeah, for the quarterfinals, I'm really scared about two of these matchups because for us consumers viewing and watching the product this weekend, this was terrible. Like, if you watched one game, you watched them all. And I know Clemson had a nice little comeback there at the end, but even Indiana, that comeback, still Notre Dame was never in danger. It was rough to watch. As for the quarterfinals, the two games that I feel like could be like this is Penn State, Boise State, and Texas, Arizona State. I tried to do some research this week and see like on their resume to like see if there's a certain ranking wise, a certain like metric that makes these teams blowing out the other ones. But to be honest with you, they literally had them in every metric possible. So it made sense that it happened, but as I've said a few weeks ago, I didn't really voice too much concerns about it, but I was sort of puzzled why we went to 12 teams. I know why they do it for the revenue to put the games on to make money, but
right,
I don't know, man. I don't think we should have gone right to 12 teams. I think we should have just slowly got there, like they've done in other NCAA tournaments, like the
real quick,
basketball.
Mike. Since you mentioned it, I want to ask you: do you think so far, based on the first round, because we still got plenty of college football playoff to watch, do you believe they should revert back? Let me not say back. Do you believe they should revamp this playoff instead of making it 12, make it the top 8 teams, kind of like how you see in the NBA, we have 8 teams from each conference. Should they do the best 8 teams in the college football playoff? That way we can have a stronger bowl games. Because we're going to kind of dive into that, how that may affect this 12 playoff roster, 12 team ranking affected the bowl games as well.
Yeah, I think they just should have gradually expanded and then eventually gone to this instead of going to it right out of the gate. But now all of a sudden, I heard one reporter saying the committee said, or the NCAA went to this because, we knew this was going to happen and we did it so every team could get a shot. So we can't say, we left you out. Well, if this is just going to continue like this, that's great, but it's not going to like look at how much people paid for tickets this week. Some people paid $1,000 plus to sit in the nosebleeds. You're traveling to see that product. That's not right. Like that's highway robbery. And I don't know. We'll see with this going forward, but you look over history, even with the 14 playoff that we've had so many blowouts. I believe it's like 12 of the last 14 games have been by 2 touchdowns or more. I don't know if that number's exact, but it's some crazy.
Remember the TCU blowout?
Georgia,
like,
yeah.
Who can ever forget that game?
Yeah, it's been a problem for a while. We'll see what happens. I assume Oregon, Ohio State will be good, and Notre Dame, Georgia. I'm even a little suspect on that with the injury to Beck and Notre Dame. Who have they really faced other than A&M? So, and Indiana last week, if you want to consider them like a high up there team, because it looked like Cignetti was just playing to keep the score close. But that's all I got really for the quarterfinals. I think we'll see a lot of the chalk win the favorites. Personally, myself, but I think we still should hopefully at least get 2 good games out of this round.
I agree. I think going into 12, it's kind of like this, right? And I'm giving another NBA reference because this will be easier for my viewers. The Karl-Anthony Towns and Julius Randle trade initially. Short term, it looked like a nice trade for both teams. Long term, so far you see in the moment one team got the upper hand. And I think that's what is the case with this playoff bracket, right? I believe that the 12-team bracket initially when it was brought up to the table was a great idea. And it still is a great idea. As you go on, you start to see that some teams are just not in the same realm with these other teams. And some teams are they're new to this, right? So that's why I want to give it grace. Because the example I'll give is the SMU game in Penn State. Everyone know from last week, I had SMU winning that game. And they blew that game in the first half. Specifically Kevin Jennings. You can tell he was rattled. And when you look at the committee and they see games like that, or you see the games with Indiana, Notre Dame, Penn State, Tennessee and Ohio State, they're not going to want to keep voting these teams in from the other conferences. Because let's be real. Most people will want to see SEC teams in this tournament because they have the best teams from the size, the top 5 recruits, and all that nature. I just think 12 maybe too much of a stretch initially. I think they should at least go back, see how 8 is in the next season, and see how it does then. But if everyone else can adapt, I think the 12-team roster can work because of this reason, and something you didn't mention, Mike, the transfer portal. With the transfer portal being as big as it is now, and we're going to talk about one of the key transfers that just made a decision, that can open the doors for a lot of these teams that's not in these SEC conferences like the ACC or the Big 12 to kind of step in and really dominate and take advantage of this opportunity. So that's why I feel like they're going to keep the 12-team show. But personally, I would love to see it be at 8.
One thing too is with these super conferences we have now, like the Big Ten and the SEC are clearly the top 2, but before we had these super conferences, we had it all like spread out nicely when you think about it. We had the Pac-12, which was probably the best conference in college football last year, where you had your Oregon States. You had Big Ten, which has always had Ohio State, Michigan. SEC was your Bama and your Georgia. Then Big 12, Texas, Oklahoma. ACC, Clemson, and whoever would go up against whether it be Louisville some years. Florida State, I know not this year, but we don't really have that division anymore. We have these super conferences, so it's it just doesn't really spread the competition out enough with some of these conferences. You see how they match up, but the thing you mentioned with the transfer portal, I can see this taking a few. We've only had the transfer, like the NIL stuff, now for less than 5 years, so we could see this stuff really change the landscape. Because SMU, for example, they got oil money out there. They're boosters and backers. They got billions of dollars at their disposal if they want to use it. And look at UNLV this year. You got a ton of money who supports that, or a ton of people with money who support that program out there. So maybe this will course correct in a few years, but that's to be seen. Just one thing to keep in mind.
Absolutely. We got a comment from Sam Kim. Shout out to Sam Kim. Only way to make changes before 2026 is all 11 conference reps vote unanimous. Not going back to 8 teams.
Yeah,
that is true. For those who are not aware of that, in order for this to be changed, they need to be a vote, and it has to be unanimous. So yes, Sam King, thank you, Sam Kim. Thank you for the comment. We appreciate the comment, man. Thank you for bringing more insight to this conversation. I got Ty up here with us. Ty, we just going over the quarterfinals right now, kind of chiming in on what we thought about the first round. Feel free to chime in whenever you can. But Mike, let's dive right into that Penn State SMU game, because I kind of touched base on it a little bit in my last message. What was your thoughts on that game? Like your biggest outtake?
It was a closer game than the score reflected in the first I'll say quarter and a half, because you don't have those pick sixes. It should really be 0-0 at the 7-minute mark.
Probably our closest game.
Yeah, in the second quarter. Other than that, you could see the weather affected them. They're not used to being in that cold. And then the environment, too. Every time Jennings put his hands over his ears, the crowd just got louder. But one thing I wanted to add to Sam Kim's comment, too, is I know we talk about 8 teams and it's good, but I agree that's not happening. We're dreaming. I've actually heard the opposite. They're going to go to 14 or 16 teams after that. But, I hope we see better games than this next round, because this game, I'm sure glad the Chiefs and the Texans were on at 1, because I couldn't watch much more of that.
Yeah, man. That game kind of it pissed me off for obvious reasons. Like I mentioned earlier, I had SMU winning, but you could just tell they were just rattled. Like the home field advantage mattered in that game, because Penn State did not play that well, if you're being honest, in the first half. Throughout the first half. They capitalized on mistakes, which all teams should do and do. So I'm not trying to knock them, but SMU defense was getting stops early in that first half, especially when they got that key stop after Jennings' second pick, and they was in the red zone to score. And when he threw that pass and they got tipped, I was just like, there's just no way they're gonna come back from this. Like, it's too many mistakes. And a good thing, and the key thing that I want people to understand that don't watch college football. And those who watch college football and watch NFL, the big difference is with those mistakes, you can still come back and close the gap in college football. It's rare where you have games where your quarterback is making that many mistakes and turnovers in NFL, and you still have a chance to win the game or even come back. And one of those rare times is like what happened yesterday with Jaden Daniels. So I say that because despite the first 2 pick sixes Jennings threw, they still had a chance to come back in this game and make it a game. And for whatever reason, they just was overmatched. I seen something before this playoff started that I believe 6 of the teams this is their first time in this type of environment with the college football playoff. So that tells me that a lot of these teams are just not experienced. And this might be a good thing for SMU to go through. And I don't know Jennings' eligibility off the top of my head, so I don't know if he's going to be back next season. But if he is, this would be something he can build upon and get better. Because I believe SMU, if they can bring it, if everyone's coming back, of course, the key players, can be right back in the thick of things for the next year's college playoff. So that's my kind of thoughts on it real quick. Before we let Ty go, Sam Kim with another comment. SMU looked like the moment was too big for them, and whiteout is no joke. Now, yes, That is another thing I wanted to mention. That whiteout, that was beautiful to see. I'm just gonna be honest. It was a thing of beauty to see. Um, and I don't care what nobody says. College football playoff atmosphere, Orange Bowl games, whatever it is, home field matters. Because I guarantee you, if the roles were reversed, I don't think Penn State comes out the way SMU did, but SMU will be a lot more poised if they was at home playing in this game. That's why their record and winning the conference championship matters so much in these situations and scenarios. Ty, if you're there, we'll love to hear your thoughts on the Penn State SMU game, or we can just dive into one of the other first round games that you want to touch base on.
I mean, all the games pretty much felt the same to me. It felt that, like, you have this well put team against this team that's never been there before. Pretty much what you guys were saying. But I do think it's a good thing for a team like SMU. There was talks before the conference championship game that should they even make it if they lose or anything. They put up a great fight in the conference championship game. And it's one of those things everyone can look at SMU or even look at Clemson or even Indiana that I've started to hear that, like, those teams shouldn't belong, that the Bama and the Ole Miss should have got in. But relatively, I don't really care. I think it's a good thing for the league to have these teams in there. This is why they made it 12 teams, especially so you can get these teams without experience to get in there and really see what it feels like. It just sucked that, no first round matchup was good. The Indiana game was the only one that was the closest. And that's just because, it looked like Notre Dame just didn't really care. They already knew they had the game wrapped up. So I think these next matchups is going to be way better. But it's just one of those things, not every, new incorporated thing, its first season is always, a knockout of the park. There's always going to be little things and little problems that need to be addressed. I think that, they won't do 8, but I think next year, if we have the same thing where you're seeing the 10, the 11, the 9, and the 12 just completely get blown out, I think that's when you got to make that change.
So, in other words, real quick, and I'm gonna let Mike take it away. It seems like we got not just us on the panel here, on the PICK6 fan, but people watching. You got to understand it's going to be growing pains, right? This is something new. It's unprecedented. Everything's not gonna be like that good on the right moment. It's gonna go through these growing pains. It's gonna have teams who aren't experienced go through these games where they're just not prepared for the moment, and don't realize that there's another level you guys got to take before you actually ready for the dance. So understand that. I'm excited to see how everything looks in years to come for this playoff bracket. Mike, any last words before we move to the next game?
Yeah, I got one question for you guys. So on that first drive that SMU had, he went forward on the 4th down. Say if he kicks a field goal, but even one step further, if Jennings puts that ball right on the money, it's a touchdown. And big game James, he gets behind and he's got his back up against the wall right off the bat. Do we see a different flow to this game and a different outcome, or you think it's just such a mismatch that it didn't matter?
Ty, I'll let you go first.
Honestly, I don't think it would have made a difference. Yeah, we can look at it at the end of the game and we could pinpoint specific parts of the game to be like, oh, that could have kept the game more closer. But honestly, nah. I think the first PICK6 hurt. The second one, you basically gave them that game.
Definitely.
I think it changes everything. Because if they go down and score on that first drive, now the crowd's not into the game. They'd be on Pennsylvania like, hold on, maybe SMU is a team that we should be nervous about. And now for Penn State side of it, all right, now we got to lock in. They threw the first punch. Now we got to punch back, right? And let's assume SMU's defense is still playing pretty well because despite them giving up that touchdown run after the third pick, they was getting some 3 and outs. So I believe if SMU was to score that first drive and get a couple of 3 and outs, now they're more poised and have more composure. Jennings is going to be a little bit more comfortable. He's going to have more confidence. And I think the game is going to be a lot different. Now, do they win that game still? Probably not. But the game doesn't look like what it did as it went during the first half, especially. So that's just my opinion on that. Next game. Let's talk about the ACC champs, Texas and Clemson. What are you guys' thoughts on that game? We don't got to spend much time on these either if you guys don't want to. Because like I said, like we all agree, these games is not the most entertaining games to watch anyway. So
I think it was funny to see these two guys duel in the state of Texas again because they both went up against each other in the high school championship game, which I didn't know about. But I think if Clemson's had some defense that was capable of stopping Texas, this would have been a much better game because at the second half they stopped him, but off the bat they couldn't. So, and I've thought it was really funny too. I'm not one to complain about officials, but this is you're going into the replay thing. So replay, you have a second chance to get it right on the first down. It's clearly a first down, and you call it short, and then Arch fumbles the ball. It's a 2-score game. It doesn't matter, but I just thought that was crazy because I had him in a contest, Clemson plus 12, and I thought I was dead. And when I heard that, I thought I was going to come back, and then they threw the pick, and that was the end of that. But even on the drive before that, I didn't like the play calling that Dabo had on the goal line there. Why you putting the kid in the shotgun on the 1-yard line? I know a lot of these kids can't play under center, but you got to teach them to. When you get to the NFL, look at what happened to the Raiders on Monday night. That's a safety if you're starting out of the shotgun. You got to be able to put these kids under center. But I think Klubnik, he's got good arm talent for sure. He showed it in that game, but just Clemson was outmatched with the defensive versus the Texas offensive matchup.
Ty?
Yep, I 100% agree with Mike. I thought Cade played a good game. Honestly, one of the few. Honestly, I would say he probably had the best game as a quarterback that played the past weekend. But just that Clemson defense, very disappointing. I thought it was going to be a much closer game. But when you let two running backs run over you for 100 yards each, you're not going to win that game. So the offense showed up. The defense did it. And I didn't even think Texas looked that good against Clemson. But they somehow still had 28 points by halftime. So it's just recipes there. I think if this Texas team shows up against Arizona State, we'll see. But yeah, it was pretty much just the Clemson defense costing them that game.
So I wanted to ask, was this game more about Clemson not being able to stop the run, or was this more about Texas taking control of the game? Because it seems like to me Texas might be on a potential fraud watch, considering they play Arizona State next.
The only team they've lost to is Georgia. We got to remember that, though.
Yep.
That's why I wanted to pose the question to you guys. Was this game more about Clemson's defense not being able to stop the run, or was this more about Texas just being the more dominant team?
I mean, I think the average person sees the flaws in Texas's game. So, go heading into it where every matchup Texas has, even if they keep going past Arizona State, we're always going to look at the other team like they got some type of advantage that they can take over the game. And I think this game was just more of Clemson just not being able to get stops. You know, if you stop Texas like 2 drives in a row, this game changes. You know, this game changes. The offense can actually capitalize where it was just more so Texas goes down and scores, and Clemson has to answer, and they're answering, but when are you going to get those stops to actually take over the game? I think Texas, like any other team, you start with a big lead and you just keep adding on to it. That's how you're going to win these games. So, I mean, that's why I said I don't think Texas played like crazy good, like we've seen them throughout the season. But it was just more so Clemson. I feel like Clemson really gave them that game defensively.
Yeah, we don't know yet, to be honest, which one it was, but I am gonna go with, as of right now, that it was the Texas defense not able to, or I'm sorry, the Clemson defense not able to stop the Texas running game. One thing that we got to keep in mind, though, is Ewers has had an ankle injury, and he hasn't looked the same after it. Last year in the playoffs, he looked phenomenal. And if we gotten that Quinn Ewers, I know it was more in the running game. Watch out for Texas. But until I can see that firsthand, I'm going to go with the latter and say that it was the Clemson defense not being able to stop the run game.
Sam Kim with another comment. Clemson's run defense was suspect all year, but Texas makes me nervous. If they play Ohio State or Oregon in the semis, I think to the comment he feels like they could potentially lose in the semis if they play Ohio State, Oregon. I agree. If you have been watching Clemson, which I didn't watch much of them this year, but their defensive run defense has been suspect all year. But that's why I asked the question, because something about Texas, even though they only lost against Georgia, something about Texas doesn't seem like they're that powerhouse that their record seems to show them to be. Like you said, though, Quinn is battling the ankle injury, but something's missing with them. Like I don't know what it is. I can't like tell you guys exactly what it is, but when I just watch them, I'm just not fully convinced yet. And because of that, I feel like that side of the bracket is wide open. At this moment, I feel like any of those 4 teams could come out of that side of the bracket for the Natty game. And I mean, that includes Arizona State. Because I think Scatterboat can definitely expose that Texas D-line if they can get some blocking up front. So that's my kind of thoughts on that. I'll be honest with you guys. I ain't trying to talk about Tennessee, Ohio State. I think that was a joke of a game to watch. The fact that was a late game, they had the right idea, but Tennessee didn't come to play. But I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on that game as well as the Indiana Notre game, and we can move right along.
Yeah, for Tennessee, Ohio State, I know I told you this yesterday after we went off the air. I'm curious if Ohio State was playing possum against Michigan, because this seems a little bit staged to me. Oh yeah, Ryan Day's job's not in jeopardy, but he's lost 4 out of his last 5 to Michigan and all this stuff. Because look at what happened to Georgia. They lost Carson Beck in the SEC championship game, and now Ohio State, they got a home game first round. So yeah, you still would have got that time off to rest, but you don't know where you're going to end up in the bracket. Say you could be in the same position against Oregon now, or you could have to face a Georgia team that you didn't know was going to have the injuries. And maybe they didn't want to take that risk, so they said, hey, we need our team to heal and stuff. And they didn't show much against Michigan probably either, and they were holding this back for this game because they have a ton of NFL talent on their team. So I think this was a little staged by them, and they knew it was going to happen. But we'll see in this rematch, because Oregon's been looking good on offense. Defense was a little suspect in the Big Ten championship game. And as for Texas, Arizona State, I think Texas is going to go all motorboat them. I don't think this is going to be a close game at all. If they can stop Scatterbo, I know the top receiver over in Arizona State's been battling injury. I don't know what his status is right now for it, but I think you'll see a repeat of these first-round games happen in that one.
Yeah, I got a quick breaking news. This was reported about an hour ago by One Sports. They're one of the platforms that talks about all the transfer portals and things of that nature. It's been reported now that the true freshman top five signal caller in the 2024 class quarterback, Aaron Nolan from Ohio State, may be potentially transferring to South Carolina. It's not final yet, but the rumors are saying that might be his landing spot. And for those who watch our show, you guys heard how high Mike is on Lenora Sellers, and hearing that they might bring in a true freshman quarterback to transfer, who's most likely going to sit again, unless they just open to the quarterback duo challenge to figure out who's going to be the number one on that team. That could be very interesting for South Carolina. So I just want to put that out there as a potential transfer portal.
That makes me think, is Sellers going to leave South Carolina?
Hey, we'll get to that bridge when we get there. Ty, was there anything you want to mention regarding the Tennessee Ohio State game and Indiana Notre Dame before we move on?
No, because honestly, I didn't like neither of those games. Yeah, that's it. Just sucks that we did not get at least one, great game.
Tough watch this weekend, but we still gonna move along and get back into the next part of the show. We're gonna talk about one of the transfer portal names that was announced already, and that is Georgia Tech's standout receiver Eric Singleton. He has committed to the University of Auburn, and it's a very, very hefty Auburn team when it comes to that wide receiver position. Now, I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on him moving forward to Auburn.
It's great to get all these receivers, but last time I checked, Jackson Arnold just transferred there, and I know Dylan Gabriel left Oklahoma to go to Oregon because he was worried about him taking his job. I don't know what the hell he saw. He's one of the worst quarterbacks in the country, in my opinion, and it's great to have all these wide receivers, but if you don't have a kid who can get them the ball, what good is it going to do? So I don't know if they got another quarterback that's going to be starting that they're grooming this year, or they're going to have transfer in, but we'll see, man. Kids make strides. Like Jalen Milroe, I think he was terrible when he first started, and he's good now, but the strides that he made from when he first started, night and day. So hey, who knows? We'll see, but I'm still very suspect on anything to do with Auburn at this point.
Ty?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's funny because we're seeing a lot of receivers from the SEC kind of get out. So I'm very surprised that he wants to go to Auburn. And especially when, the transfer portal, you basically got the position to go where you want as long as, they need you. So I would feel like you would want to go there and take your risk on a proven QB or a QB you think is going to, help you get drafted highly. So I'm surprised, kind of surprised by this move, honestly.
What does this mean for Haynes King? He loses his top receiver to Auburn. What does this mean for him in that offense? Do they take a hit? Do you think Georgia Tech is going to be able to bring someone in that can at least fill in the stat sheet for what Eric was able to provide? Or do you think they already have someone on the roster that can step up?
I don't know the roster like that. As soon as we started seeing guys in the portal, these wide receivers from Georgia Tech, the first thing I remember I said is, I wonder if this means Haynes King is out, because I believe he's a junior and he has one more year left. So you clearly have, I know it's gone under the radar, but you have NFL potential without a doubt there. You definitely have to improve next year. You're not there yet, but if I'm him, you got to put yourself in the best position to succeed. So he's got, I believe the transfer portal is open till the 29th. So we got another week and some change, I think. And I believe there might be an extended window for teams who have bowl games or in the playoff. I forget which one it is, but I'm curious to see what happens there. If not, I hope he gets some help because once he's been healthy this year, he's been a good talent. Because I know a lot of games where he couldn't even throw the ball, he still went out there and played to try to give them a boost.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely. Go ahead, Ty.
There's a chance that they might already have a receiver on the roster that is going to step up. Because we've seen it. We've seen it with these teams. They lose this big name in a position, and we think it really hurts them, but then it kind of opens it up for a team to discover these hidden gems who are sitting there probably the fourth, fifth string doing nothing, getting in probably special teams to actually run those routes, get those snaps. But since the transfer portal is a big thing, like Mike said, it got to the 29th. So you can see someone randomly, a receiver randomly just transfer out last minute, and they can go grab. So it hurts them right now because literally your best receiver leaving. But it's like you said, it's the growing pains. So you got to get through it. It is what it is. We know how it's going to be anyways.
Real quick, Sam Kim. Arnold has talent. Maybe a fresh start helps. A short transform Bo Nix trajectory.
That's true.
I agree.
Yeah.
We see what Bo Nix is doing now in the NFL with the Denver Broncos. So definitely agree. We're gonna move right along. I want to get into these blind rankings that I have, and this is gonna be interesting because it's only Mike and Ty up here. So I'm doing a college football edition blind rankings. For those who are new to this, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment on your thoughts on this blind ranking list, as well as your thoughts on what we talked about as far as the college football playoff brackets. So how the college edition blind ranking is gonna go? It's 1 through 5. 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. I'm going to give you guys a name, and then you guys are going to decide whether or not where you should properly rank them. Mike, you've been doing this with us on the Grade A show with the basketball, so you're familiar with this. Now, again, it's in the random orders. I have 3 different ones for you guys today. I'm going to do quarterbacks, running backs, and then defensive players. And I'm going to let you guys decide on where we should properly rank them. Now, I might have someone higher on the list. Let's say, for example, I say Lawrence Taylor. You guys put him at 2, which I know won't be the case, but I'll say Lawrence Taylor. Then I go Cody Simons from Ohio State now. And the only spot left is the 1. So you have him ranked at 1. Again, this is if we had to do this. The point is have it to be blind, so you don't know who's going to come up next. The good thing for you guys, though, the players I'm naming for each of these positions are all elite. You just got to figure out who would you have at 1 and who will be at 5. So,
what do you mean by all elite? Like there's empty seats at the shows, like the wrestling promotion? No, I'm just kidding.
Wow,
that's a crazy take.
Nah, I'm joking. I love AEW for real. Well, I shouldn't have taken that shot.
The first thing I'm going to give you guys is Joe Burrow, LSU 2018 season.
Damn, that's how we started. That's
Are we doing
hard.
5 or 3?
We're doing 5.
5.
If everyone that's watching, you can leave a comment down after we go through each blind ranking. Where would you have them? Actually, you can leave a comment. Where would you rank them? 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. The first name I gave Mike and Ty, we're doing quarterback first. Joe Burrow, 2018 season. We have a comment. Dan VT says 2.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep,
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm putting him at 2 because if you're starting this list off with him, there is a crazier season from someone on this list. So I'm fine with 2.
The next name Deshaun Watson, Clemson.
What are you thinking, Ty? 3 max, probably 4.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning 4 because
Yeah.
I know we're gonna have to eventually put someone at 4 and 5. So I'm not mad at 4.
4 it is for you guys?
Yeah, we'll go with 4.
All right. The next name, Marcus Mariota, Oregon.
Probably got to put him at 3, right? Just in case we get someone who's ass at 5.
Yeah.
Dan VT with another comment. He says 4. If you're saying 4 regarding Mariota, they already put someone at 4. Oh, never mind. That was the last one. He says Marcus Mariota should be at 5.
I was going to say, no, you go, Ty.
I don't know. There, like you said, there might be a stinker on here. Damn. I don't know. Let's put him at.
Y'all lucky I'm only doing 5 because there's so many names I can think of, but I mean but I'm only gonna pick the 5. So
I'm telling you, I know how him and Clips be doing people, bro. Make sure
saying.
we leave that last spot open.
I think we should put it at 5 because think about it. If he got 2 names left, I feel like we're gonna get somebody more recent than Joe Burrow, and we're gonna get somebody around the good times, college football.
So Dan VT says Burrow at 2, Watson 4, Mariota at 5. Is that what you guys agree on? Also,
I'd put him at 3 just because we don't know what's coming, but that's up to you, Ty. I'll leave that in your hands.
Y'all got to decide 3 or 5.
We'll put it at 3. We'll put it at 3.
The next name, Cam Newton, 2010, Auburn.
Oh my God! I told you.
Let's go 1.
We have to go 1.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, unless he throws something wild out.
We have to.
I love it. So number 1 for Cam Newton.
Yeah.
The last name. Dan VT also said number 1. Ooh, the last name is Vince Young, Texas.
Damn it.
Y'all got Vince Young at 3. Oh man. I tried to save Cam and Vince for the end. You're lucky. I was gonna throw Matt Barkley in there. Matt Barkley from USC.
Yeah,
but I was like, nah, I'm gonna juice it up a little bit.
Yeah. I was gonna say anyone that watching after the fact too, feel free to leave a comment if you're not in the live chat.
So the names, just to reiterate, this was the quarterback edition. The names that were given in this order were Joe Burrow. Then we had, I believe I said Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
Then we had Marcus Mariota. Then we had Cam Newton and Vince Young. Those were the 5 quarterbacks I picked for the blind ranking. Dan VT, not a bad blind ranking. Thank you. I had some practice. If you haven't watched the Grade A show on Saturdays when we talk about basketball, we do this a lot on the basketball show. So I have some practice, to get prepared for this show. Stay tuned. We're definitely gonna do a college football draft at some point, all time. So I'm gonna have to wheel up for everyone to watch and see who gets the draft orders, and we're gonna go from there. Stay tuned. That's coming down in the future.
Off season.
Yep, off season. So that's the quarterbacks. I'm at you guys. Where y'all want to go first? Defensive players or running backs next?
Don't matter to me. Probably running backs will stay on the offensive side of the ball.
I feel like running backs, unless you throw like a very whack running back, it's kind of hard.
Oh, no. All right. So we can get ready for the running backs. The first name, O.J. Simpson. Or is that too old for you guys?
I really want to put him at 1 on it, to be honest with you, off the bat. But
I feel the same.
Probably 2 to be safe.
If that's too old for the gap, let me know. I got names that's a little bit more relevant.
No, I'm more than happy to put OJ on any of my lists.
I love OJ Simpson's football.
You don't know how good Juice was, man.
I ain't gonna lie, I was at a Buffalo Bills game and he was there, and I ran around the whole stadium trying to get a picture with him. I'm not gonna lie, I did not find him, unfortunately, but
May he so rest in peace,
Yep.
man.
We're
Musa was
going
that
with
guy.
2. We're going with 2.
2? All right,
Yeah.
2 it is. OJ Simpson at 2. Dan V also agrees. He said 2 just in case.
Yep.
And again, my computer that I'm on, it's a little bit of a lag. So if your comments popping a little later on my end, my apologies. But OJ Simpson is at 2. The next name I have Ricky Williams, Texas.
Probably go 3 just to be safe again.
Yeah, we're going with 3.
3. Ricky Williams is at 3. Perfect.
I do love that season from him, though.
The next name, Herschel Walker.
I almost want to go 1.
I'm telling you, bro, that's the problem with these running backs. So many great seasons. I feel like there's a banger. There could be a Reggie Bush. Mike. All right, Mike. Who?
Dan VT with another comment said Reggie Bush is coming.
I feel like Reggie's coming, so I want to save that one personally.
Where are we ranking?
We can save it. I'm cool with that. I'm not mad at that. We got all solid names on here, so.
So where's Herschel gonna be?
4, right? Just to be safe.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah.
4? Okay. We got another comment. Hooper the Elf said Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about saying Bo Jackson. He was up there, but I had to go with Herschel instead. So far, if you just joining up, Hooper, we just finished our quarterback blind ranking. We're currently on the running backs, as you see. The first name I mentioned was OJ Simpson. The next name was Ricky Williams. Now we have Herschel Walker. The next name on this list will be, instead of Bo Jackson, Earl Campbell.
Probably go 5, just because.
Yeah, we got to save that one.
Yeah.
We got to save that one.
Oh, wait, this is the 4th name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Never mind. Reggie Bush.
Let's go
Bush.
1. We've been saving the 1 spot for him, so
Reggie's 1. My bad. Nah, I can't do that. I gotta go Reggie.
Well, we said we were gonna do him 5 and Reggie 1 anyway, unless you got another name. So
Reggie's number 1. All right. So
yeah.
For those watching, negate the Earl Campbell name. He was not making the list. I had the last name locked and loaded. I made an error on that. So Reggie's at 1. So the 5th spot is going to. Y'all ready for this? Barry Sanders is at 5.
Yeah, I figured. I should have figured that was coming.
Because I see you guys talk about like you had Dan in the comments about Reggie's coming. Y'all forgot about the man who got the record for the most rushing yards in the season.
Yeah, I should. When you put OJ and Herschel up there, I should have remembered that.
Arguably the best running back to ever grace the field in college and NFL.
Yeah,
I don't know how y'all forgot about your boy.
Well, I think you even forgot about him too. Seeing you had those 2 other guys before you put them up.
Hooper with Elf said my favorite player as a kid. Man, you got great taste, brother. You got great taste. But yeah, I was trying to throw the lob out there. I started off big. Herschel Walker, Ricky. I'm like, they didn't give y'all a hint. Reggie was coming. Like I was like, all right, let's see if they're gonna figure out Barry. I told you I'll give you guys a little for the first college football edition. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of an easy taste. It's not gonna be no bad names, but it's just who's gonna have the better season. Is where you're gonna have to rank them. So. That's the running back. That will conclude the running backs. Next, we're going to do defensive players. I have all this on my computer. As soon as this boots up, this thing's just a little slow. Forgive me.
No, take your time. You're good.
The first name I'm giving you guys, Derek Thomas, Alabama. DT.
Way this has been going, bro. Probably 4.
You think 4? I was thinking 3. Let's start in the middle.
Okay, yeah, I'm cool with that. 3, 4, either one.
Then we'll put
Derek Thomas is 3.
Yeah.
I know Charles Woodson might be on this, obviously.
Might even throw Travis Hunter.
Maybe.
That is true. There's a lot of good defensive seasons.
All right, so Derek Thomas is 3. Cool. The next name, Ndamukong Suh.
I was just about to say Sue.
Want to do 2 you got to do 2. I don't think we can do 4 with him.
Well, he just said there's no bad names on this list. So, do you think that there's going to be, one person worthy?
I'm cool. I'm cool with putting him at 2 and taking the chance. But if you want to put him at 4, feel free to. I'm not going to get tripped up over it.
So where you guys gonna
I'll put him at 4. 4.
Perfect.
4.
So for those who just tuned in, Derek Thomas is 3. The next name I just gave you guys, Ndamukong Suh, was 4. The next name, Charles Woodson.
Well, want to put him at 2?
Yeah, I'll keep Charles Woodson.
Yeah. Nah, the fact that he just did that whole putting him at
because
2,
you mentioned it, but it's fine. I was thinking about adding Travis. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna put Travis. So
his career's technically not over yet. So
I'm gonna keep Charles Woodson. So you guys got Charles at 2.
I'm cool with it.
The next name, Terrell Suggs.
Want to go 5 just because in case there's a ultimate banger.
Just to remind people, Terrell Suggs set the record for sacks that year with 24. And he had 31.5 tackles for a loss with 6 forced fumbles. So, for those who might not remember, Terrell Suggs at Arizona State.
Crazy.
Sounds like you're trying to bait us into putting them at 1 too at the same time.
Because again, I was gonna mention Dick Butkus, but that was way before all of our time too. But some people might not be familiar with that. So for our viewers that wasn't born before 2002, I mean, I was a kid at that point, showing my age, but still, it's okay to use this right here. Use this, call a phone, and do some research. Do your homework. So y'all got him at 5.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. It's up to you,
cool.
too.
Y'all made a great choice because the number 1 name is LT.
Yeah.
Lawrence Taylor, North Carolina.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So that's what we have. Lawrence Taylor at 1 for the defensive players, man. This is a good blind ranking list. I made it a little easy for you guys. Next time we do it, though, I'm gonna put some bums on the list. Just be prepared for that. All right, we're gonna move right along with the show. For those who watch, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you enjoyed this blind ranking list, please leave a comment down below and tell me who would you have in your order. I also missed a comment from Dan BT when we was on the quarterbacks. Alyssa came up on my screen. I missed it. He had his list was 1 Cam, 2 Joe Burrow, 3 Vince Young, 4 Watson, and 5 Marcus Mariota. Interesting. Vince Young at 3.
Mm-hmm.
I might have pushback on that.
Nah, I can understand it.
I can see it.
Yeah,
but
not a lot of people was able to see that Vince Young season, though.
People forget how good
Cam Newton was technically their Vince Young, so I can see that.
And that was the point I was about to make, Ty. The reason why I have pushback is because, to your point, before Cam, it was basically Vince Young. Now he wasn't running with the physicality like Cam was because he's just not that stature as a frame. But what Vince Young was doing at Texas was special. And to win that championship game against USC, which I might add was against the Heisman winner, Reggie Bush. So
in the Rose Bowl, their stadium.
Rose Bowl, yes. And wasn't it Matt Barkley was the quarterback too, if I'm not mistaken, in 09.
I thought it was Matt
Oh,
Lyon.
wait. Yes, it was. My apologies. But so yeah, it's tough. But you can't poo on what Cam did at Auburn, especially if you know the backstory. Him being at Florida, having to leave, go to JUCO, then get to Auburn. Man, what he did at Auburn was special. And they haven't had a quarterback like him or a season like that since. And then obviously what Joe Burrow was able to do with LSU. But if I had to be honest, I would probably have Burrow at 3 or 4. Because I'm looking at the degree of difficulty, and I think people are really snoozing on what Watson was able to do at Clemson against Bama at his peak. Going at him for going against some back-to-back natty games, losing one in the way he had to win that other one was like that was one of the best college football games I ever watched in a natty game in recent memory, at least. So because of that, I can easily make the argument to put Burrow at 4, Watson 3, Vince at 1, Cam at 2, or however you want to put Cam and Vince between the two. Because again, I'm looking at the degree of difficulty. So, but not a bad list, Dan. Not a bad list at all. We're gonna move right along with the show. Ty's here, so we can finally get into it. We're gonna get into our Week 16 NFL power rankings really quickly. I'm gonna pour this up here for everyone to see.
I left my individual. I was saying I left my individual power rankings in the comments too. If any of y'all are in the live chat, and I'll move them over to the comments after the fact if anyone wants to push back on any of those or endorse them.
For sure. For those looking at the screen and watching, as you see at the bottom where my cursor is, we did it quarterly. So week 4 we had a power rankings, week 8, week 12, and now we're on week 16. And I'm gonna just click on the week 12 because I need to see where I need to start off at. I think it's at 33. Yep, 33. Perfect. So once we get through the list, then we can go through 4, 8, 12, and 16 to show our growth in picks. So let me just switch over real quick to see if there's any comments. I think we do have a comment. Let me scroll down. Oh, this is an old comment. Nope. No. Perfect. All right, we're going to move right along. At 33, who we got? I mean, who's the worst team in the NFL?
Really 32, but we got the one thing taken up because of the
That's
first
what I meant to say.
Yep. I got the Giants on my list.
Mike says the Giants. I'm leaning towards – I actually agree. The Giants. Who you got, Ty?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's the Giants.
Giants it is. Who's next?
I got the Browns
Jaguars?
next. I got the Browns next on my list strictly because of the DTR quarterback change. If they don't go back to Winston this year, I think the Browns are hands down 31st team in the NFL with DTR at quarterback.
What about you, Ty?
Damn, that is a good point. There's a lot of bad teams. I'll go with the Browns.
And we all agree the Jags is next?
No, we got the Giants. I got the Bears, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
The Bears are not worse than the Raiders and the.
With Kevin O'Connell, Aiden O'Connell. With Aiden O'Connell at quarterback, they came close against Kansas City. I know Kansas City's against every team, but they, even without O'Connell playing, they kept it close to the Falcons, who were putrid too. But they ended up winning the Jags this week. The Bears have not won a game on American soil since October, and with the coach gone, I just don't think I don't think they can beat anyone right now, quite frankly.
I hear you. I still got pushback though. I don't think the Bears are worse than the Jags. Damn sure not worse than the Raiders though.
I think the Jags are better than the Patriots.
No.
The Jags just played the Jets close, and didn't the Jags just beat the Titans?
what the Patriots do with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, but the Patriots haven't won a game since the Jets back in, when was that, October? The Jets beat the Titans. The Patriots didn't.
I hear you. But the Pats are not worse.
What? The Jaguars beat them head to head.
I like our quarterback better. You guys got the better receiver for sure. No debating that. And running back. Defense, I like my Pats defense better. Believe it or not. But again, it's up to you guys.
I don't know. As I said, it's up to you guys. I don't care. But as I said, I got Bears next. But it's whatever you guys want.
So we do agree the Patriots aren't next on this list, right? It's either the Raiders.
I got the Patriots in the next spot after this one on mine.
Okay, so then we can that boils it down. Bears, Raiders, Jags. Ty, which one you got?
I'll go with the Jags right now.
Next, we have between the Patriots, from based on what we just talked about, Pats,
Patriots, Bears, Raiders. Yep.
Raiders, Bears. I think it's the Raiders.
It's up to you, Ty. You're the tiebreaker because I got the Bears still until they get taken off the list.
So Bears
Honestly,
or Raiders?
I think the Bears are pretty trash.
So Bears?
I'll go with the Bears.
Next, Raiders or Patriots?
I got the Patriots on mine.
I'm going Raiders. Who you said, Ty?
I'll go Raiders.
All right.
Then the Patriots.
Yeah, I agree. Pats will be next. Oops. All right. Who's next?
I got the Titans next on mine.
Yep.
I can agree. Let me just plug this charger in.
You're good. Take your time. Take your time.
So we got Titans. Who's after the Titans?
Next on my list, I got the Jets after the Titans.
You think the Saints are better than the Jets?
I do, since the coaching change. Because they played Washington to a 1-point game last week, and Washington just beat Philly. I know Hurts was out, but
Hold up. No, wait. The Saints aren't better than the Patriots.
yes, they are. They have 5 wins.
No, bro. You guys forget what we did earlier in the show? Well, I started it, so I can't forget it, of course. Remember that segment? Was the Saints legit? That's where most of those wins came from. That was back in September.
Look at the record, though, since they fired the coach. I'll get it right now. Hold on.
Mike, do me a solid. How many wins did the Saints have when I brought that question up back in the beginning of the season?
I believe it was 3-0.
No, they started off 2 wins.
You sure it was 2?
Yeah, the Saints are 2-2 in their last 4 games. Or actually, no, they're 3-2 in their last 5 games with beating the Falcons once.
So what was their last one?
The last one. So we'll go. This is their last. These are their last order games. They lost to the Commanders by 1 point. They beat the Giants by 3. Lost to the Rams by 7, and then they beat the Browns by. They beat the Browns by, it looks like 22 or no, 21. I'm sorry, and then they beat the Falcons by 3. So they're 3-2 in their last 5 games.
So their last one was 2 weeks ago against the piss poor Giants, and I'm supposed to.
They're 3. They've got more wins in the past. They've got the same amount of wins in the past 5 weeks that the Patriots have all year.
That is true.
All right, let's see if they win tonight. But
they ain't winning tonight. Come on, man. I'm not saying that.
Well, he had.
So we got the Saints here.
I got the Jets there.
Who you got, Ty? Because you mentioned the Saints.
I brought up the question to see where we would.
I agree. I think the Saints are worse than the Jets.
Next 2 teams are the Saints and Jets, but I just wanted to see who y'all thought is better.
I got the Panthers better than the Jets, bro, to be honest with you. I ain't going to lie.
I know what? I'm going to go Jets here because the Jets – I'll go Jets here. I'm definitely going Saints next.
Yep.
Then the Panthers?
I think the Saints are better than the Panthers, but yeah, no, I'm cool with that. We can go Panthers next. That's what I got.
Yeah, we can go Panthers based off record.
Hey, Ty. They thought we was wrong about Bryce.
Shit.
I'm still not sold on him. I ain't gonna lie.
I ain't saying I'm sold on him being top 15, but he looked like he'd be serviceable at least if you give him some damn weapons.
He needs to throw for over 200 yards before I can take him seriously.
I believe he will.
Nah, I know. We'll see. I'm still giving him time.
Who we got next?
On mine, I ain't gonna lie, I got the Colts next. I think they suck, even though their record's inflated.
I don't want to hear records being inflated because your whole argument about the Saints beat over the Pats was because of record.
Saints have beat the Saints have won three out of their the same amount of games that the Patriots won of all season, 5 games. The Pats haven't won since October.
I understand. But I don't want to hear nothing about inflation now because it's the Colts. I don't want to hear that. Who you think should go here, Ty?
Not the Colts. I don't think the Colts.
I'm waiting for a team that hasn't been mentioned.
I'll put the Niners there, honestly.
I thought about the Falcons when I almost readjusted my list to put the Falcons.
No one mentioned the Cowboys?
I got the Cowboys at 17.
They just won 2 straight, bro.
Yeah, they've won.
They're not.
I'm not sold.
Not even. They look better unhealthy than they are healthy. So I can't put them that low.
All right, fair enough.
I was gonna say, hold on, I gotta check this. 1, 2. Cowboys won 4 out of the last 5 games. We can't put them that low, bro.
I'm not sold, but
that's why I think the Niners should go right here.
Yeah, I got the Niners next. So it's either Colts or Niners then, because I got Colts right here, but I got the Niners next after that.
I'm gonna go Colts as a tiebreaker.
I just don't know. I mean, I get the Colts suck, but like how bad they look, like the record's way better than.
And that's why I got the Niners over them because I'm just like the Colts. Like, oh man. And I'm a big AR Anthony Richardson fan, but he's not helping me at all the way he's been playing. Who we got next?
I got the Cardinals next.
Yeah, losing to that Panthers team.
I agree.
Yeah, I'll put the Cardinals there.
Next.
I got the Falcons on my list next.
I don't know. If you're giving teams the benefit of the doubt due to a coaching change, I kind of have to give them a benefit of the doubt from a QB change.
He didn't have a passing touchdown against the Giants. Lamar just put up 5 on him last week.
He didn't need to.
They dropped a lot of passes too.
And Kyle Pitts ruined his touchdown. Anyways,
yeah, Penix had a Lamar-like interception yesterday. The ball go through players' hands the way it did. Yeah.
It didn't even go through his hands. He held it. And tossed
it was bad. It was bad. I'm trying to think. Is there anyone else I think that'll be lower than the Falcons? I thought about the Dolphins.
I got them next, so that's up to you guys. So I got the Dolphins next on my list after the Falcons. So.
Todd, who you got? Falcons or Dolphins?
I'd put Dolphins here.
Dolphins. It's Dolph. And then
even though they've won 4 out of their last 6, I don't think they're really all that good. I ain't gonna lie.
Then we got the Falcons. All right, who's next?
I got the Cowboys next.
Yep.
Cowboys.
You wanted to put them down 10 spots ago, bro.
I know. I'm trying to think of anyone else that's because I was just my beef wasn't with the Cowboys, it's not with the players. It's just the fans pissing me off so much. But yeah, Cowboys can go here. Sure. I'm trying to think of another team that I would definitively say they're not better than. I mean, that's better than them at this point, but nah. Can't think of any. All right, next.
I got the Seahawks next.
Yep, I got to go with the Seahawks.
I was thinking Seattle. I was even thinking about the Chargers or Denver.
I got them up.
They're right around
10,
that
11.
same realm. I can agree with Seattle for sure. You know, I got no say in it anyway. It was 2-1. I don't know why I'm wasting so much time. Who we got next? Denver or Chargers?
I honestly got the Bengals next. That defense is putrid. I ain't gonna lie.
That's what I was trying to. Yeah, Cincinnati's not better than either of those.
But the
I don't know. They might be better than Denver.
I don't know. Denver's better on both sides of the ball than them.
I think the Chargers got away with one last week. I still don't think they're better than the Broncos, in my opinion.
So who we want to put here, the Chargers or the Bengals?
I think the Bengals are better than both of them.
I agree.
Personally, like if we're talking,
and I'm only agreeing because of the offense.
In that territory, I got the Chargers, Broncos, Commanders, Texans, and Buccaneers all better than the Bengals.
You know what? I'll agree with you, Mike. I'll put the Bengals here. It's hard to dismiss that defense.
If you look at their wins too, they're like the Dolphins. They picked up wins against shitty teams.
Well, yeah, because they shit the bed against all the good teams they're supposed to be.
I got Buccaneers next, just because the only reason why I got them over the Cowboys is because Cade Otton was out last night, and he's a huge part of that offense.
I think the Bucs are too low. I think it's the Chargers or the Broncos.
I'm not mad at that. 10-16 on my list is all interchangeable. I think all these teams are on the same tier. I'm not mad at that.
Kai, who would you rather have, Chargers or Broncos?
I'll put the Chargers here. I still think Denver's better.
Even though the Chargers have beat them twice? Yeah, if we can keep it like that.
Yeah.
And then what was the third team you mentioned?
I got in this middle round,
Tampa.
the one I got, Bucks, Texans, Commanders, all in that round.
But I personally think the Texans are worse than the Commanders.
I agree. I got them in the same.
Yep.
I got that the same way. I agree.
Now we get into the top 10.
We're at 10 now, right?
I think we're 9, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because the one's taken up the Week 16.
Oh, yep, that is.
Yeah.
So we're at 9.
I got the Steelers on mine just because without Pickens, with Pickens they're higher, but without Pickens they're down around 15.
Yeah, but I'm also trying to think.
I mean, it's pretty much.
I don't want to use the injury part.
Yeah, but we've seen how they've been playing without Pickens. Offense doesn't even look the same.
He's supposed to play this Wednesday, though. I heard supposedly.
And it's kind of a little too late because now you're facing the Chiefs. So
they can still win the division, though. So
they can.
I'm just trying to think. Out of the next 8 teams, because we're saying the Steelers here, are they definitely better than Pittsburgh? Is what I'm trying to wrap my mind around.
I got the Rams next, so that's the only 2 teams I think.
I don't think the Rams are better than the Steelers.
See, I personally do. Without Pickens, I do. If we're talking with Pickens,
I'm thinking with Pickens, though. Yeah. I'm not thinking. I'm not making this call based on Pickens.
They're more like head to head, but still,
it's up to you guys. Because as I said, I'm with you, Musa. I think with Pickens, the Steelers are better teams than the Rams, but without Pickens, I got the Rams over the Steelers.
Just to be clear, my vote for the Steelers over the Rams is strictly because I'm including Pickens. But
all right, so we could go with the Rams here then. Then we could go Steelers.
But I know why Ty's trying to conclude that because it's going to get.
I mean, he's coming back. He's coming back with on Christmas, so it's not like he's out for the season. So
Rams, Steelers.
Yeah,
I did make this list before, my list before I heard the news too, because I did not know that until tonight. I got the Ravens next on my list.
Yeah, we knew that was coming.
You missed me there, boss.
I'd put the Packers.
You'd be surprised where I got the Packers.
I won't be because I'm the only one that said they come out the NFC.
Yeah, you probably got them up around where I do.
But I'm gonna go Packers here actually.
All right. Ravens.
Then I'll go Ravens. Yep.
Next, Vikings.
I got the Eagles next. I ain't gonna lie. Who knows when Hurts is coming back? And even with
I don't think he's gonna miss much time because it's a concussion.
It was a concussion.
Yeah.
I feel like they're interchangeable though.
I think they still lose that game to the Commanders, even with Hurts, though, the way the Commanders.
I don't think they lose.
I
don't think because I think adding. See, when you add Kenny Pickett into the play, you can scheme a little bit better for Saquon. Because outside of that run, Saquon the run game really didn't really hurt the Commanders. He actually had 5 negative runs that game.
Well, they were scheming for him already ahead of time, probably. Too.
And considering they're the division opponent, they're the few teams I've seen that can actually defensive line and the Commanders can actually match up with the Philly offensive line. So, but I will probably go Vikings here.
I honestly, the next team that I got is the Bills. That defense is terrible. Bills or Eagles, in my opinion.
I was thinking about the Bills earlier, but then we get to the top 10, I think all about the Bills. I'm not going to lie to y'all. The Bills should be below the Ravens.
Nah, I can't do that.
I think the Ravens are better than the Bills.
I don't think that. Ravens still got those problems in the secondary. They've just been covered up of who they've been playing recently. You're going to see
the same thing that Buffalo got.
Yeah, but Buffalo's offense can put up more points than the Ravens, too.
No, the hell they can't.
Just because they had one game this week doesn't mean they can't. Go back. They put up, 120 points in 3 games?
What did Baltimore do to Buffalo?
Yeah, second week of the season, bro. Lots changed since
then.
then.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Or third week
everyone's going to harp on the fact that, Josh gave Kansas City the only loss. And like I said in the chat, he didn't play the best version of Kansas City because they was all hurt. The best version of Kansas City we have seen up to this point in the season, obviously, Lamar had to deal with. And it took a big KD toe and Isaiah Likely from stopping them from beating them.
That's a big if, but I think the Ravens
it is a big if. Big ass.
I think the Ravens are out of the playoffs no matter who they play second round. I think Buffalo has the chance to get to the AFC Championship game.
I don't know about that, but let's move on. So we got Buffalo here. The Vikings.
Buffalo or Eagles? That's what I got on mine. It's up to you guys.
So who you got? Buffalo, Eagles, Vikings.
I'll go Buffalo.
Cool with that.
Eagles next or the Vikings?
Yep. I got them in that order, so it's up to you guys. I'm cool with either one.
I still think the Eagles slightly better than the Vikings.
He does the slow burn. I don't know, man.
I'm bad.
These teams are like, I don't know, because like the Vikings.
I can think the last two off. I think the last two are pretty self-explanatory.
I got the Chiefs better than the Lions. That Lions defense is depleted right now, bro.
Yeah, I actually got the Chiefs number 1.
I don't see how. But I think the Lions are still the best team.
I just can't.
Wait,
what do they have? 20 injuries on defense?
Chiefs, IEF. And they're still blowing teams out. But
the Bears.
I'm not mad at you. You can decline it.
The Bears, who I have lower than the Patriots, they're blowing out.
But that's our ranking list right there for everyone watching. We got Chiefs at 1, Lions 2, Eagles 3, Vikings 4, Bills 5, Ravens 6, Packers 7, Steelers 8, Rams 9, Commanders at 10. Texans, Bucks, Broncos, Chargers, Bengals. Then we have Seahawks, Cowboys, Falcons, Dolphins, Cardinals, Niners, Colts, Panthers, Saints, Jets, Titans, Patriots, Raiders, Bears, Jags, Browns, and the Giants. To round off our Week 16 power rankings. Now, our next and final power rankings for the season will be at the end of the season, where we conclude. And that last power rankings is strictly based on the end of this season in its totality. We won't do another one to probably going into the next season or probably pre-power rankings after the free agent signings and things of that nature. So that's it for our power rankings. Mike, do you have the updated pick'em points?
Yeah, I do. After that NIU game this afternoon, I forgot what bowl it was offhand, but you're still in the lead barely at 392.
So what club's got 391?
Yes, sir. And then Peso is at 355.
What you got?
I'm at 349.
Ty, welcome to the 300 Club, my boy.
Yep. 318 for Ty. Yep.
Yay. 18. Woo.
Hey, at least it's something to be happy on because it took the almighty weeks of weeks to take me out in fantasy football this week. Devin A-Chain, I mean it's in a joking way because it's not that serious. It's fantasy football. But fuck you.
Hey man, I'm happy with what you did, man. You got
that last run. I understand it because you probably got bonuses in your contract. Get your money, boss. I ain't mad at it. You couldn't just slide. I just needed you to slide. That last run cost me a chance to go to the chip, and it's okay. I ain't even tripping on it because I understand when it comes to football fantasy, it's harder to win a football fantasy than it is basketball. So
that's true.
It sucks that I lost to Mike, who had the worst record out of the four of us, between us three up here on the panel and Peso, who couldn't make it today. But now we're going to have a Mike and Peso championship. And Ty is going to win the bronze because I'm not playing for bronze. I don't play for third or second place. I don't do that shit.
So you'd rather sit there in last place?
I don't give a fuck. I didn't win first. I don't like playing for first place loser, which is second place. But I had no choice because in order to win the chip. So it is what it is. My line will be auto set. So if I win, yay. If I don't, I don't care. It is what it is. But it was a great matchup, Mike.
Yeah, best matchup I've ever had.
All my years of doing fantasy, whether it's football, basketball, I have never seen a lineup. And I'll make sure I get a screenshot of it today before it resets. I never seen a lineup where everyone in his lineup had historical points. The defense gave him 25 points.
Man, thank you, Atlanta.
The kicker had like 8 to 10 points, which is normal, but still. Then everyone else had monster games, like literally. And it was like Devin A-Chain, probably his best game all year. Dude had 30, 35, 36 fantasy points.
Yeah.
It took heroics for me to even get close. It took a Jettis touchdown that was a terrible throw, if I'm being honest, because the way he threw it in the tight window with the split coverage, but the safety just played it wrong. And then it took Saquon to get the one break run he had against freaking Washington. And then it took James Cook to finally get going, but then he didn't get the ball the whole second half. He had 33 points at half, and then that was it. So, but shake hands. I ain't mad at it. Go ahead and get the chip, my guy.
Wait till basketball fantasy. I got 3 losses.
We can forget about that,
bro. I got more points than you for the season. I got 3 losses.
No, you don't.
I know you're undefeated. Yes, I do. Go look.
I'm about to look right now.
You're gonna be surprised, bro, because my team was injured the first 3 games, so I had to eat 3 L's. But now that they're back,
I'm playing Peso this week in basketball too.
That's okay. Y'all can have your fun, man. I've got more points than anyone in the league, even though
Oh
I got
yeah,
3
you do.
losses. That's what I'm saying. I've been sneaking out, staying low key.
I ain't gonna lie. Last week or the week I played T-Top, I was looking at your matchup with my brother-in-law. I'm like, yo, I'm glad I didn't play y'all that week, boy. Y'all putting belt to asses. I'm not gonna lie.
He would have smoked anyone else in the league that week. Too bad he played.
We had I would have lost to anyone. I would have beat anyone else but you and him that week.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Be careful, bro. I know we're in the same division too, so.
But I'm not worried.
All right, we'll see. You better.
As long as you can get the hell out of that 4th and 5th spot range, I'm not worried because I ain't got to see for the conference.
What if I stay there intentionally? Just bench, load management for my fantasy.
Then I got to put belt to asses because especially how you beat me in football, I cannot lose to you in football and basketball. That can't happen. I'll be pissed off. I can deal with a football loss. Basketball, nah, I can't do that. Actually, if I lose, it's whatever. But it's how I lose what really matters to me. As long as I lose the T-Top. T-Top and Ace, I can't lose to them. No.
That's what I'm playing. I'm playing T-Top this week in the basketball one.
Because the way T-Top was yapping when we was doing the draft, like he didn't get his ass whooped in the championship last year to me. Stop it. Don't know your role. Stay in your place. You ain't ready for that. And then the way Ace be getting at me, and like, Ace, you haven't beat me in the playoff when it matters most yet. So it's like, I got rings. It's like Shaq when he talks to Charles Barkley. When we get to that ring conversation, that's the door for you. So you get one of these, don't talk to me about that.
Think I might get a ring this year with 4 wins.
But
in our football league.
We're gonna get into our spreads, the pick'ems. I know we're gonna run through this real quick because you already got ties, and everyone else is just me. And I know you put it in the chat for people to see. So let me know the spread, and I'll pick it real quick.
Yeah, if anyone wants to comment, you can push back on them. But first game we got is oops, I got it right here on my phone. I'll just put it down. First game we got is hold on, I got it right here. I just had it. I don't know why I put my phone down. My bad about that.
Oh, no, you good.
Okay, first game we got is the Hawaii Bowl. As we got South Florida plus 3.5 at San Jose is minus 3.5. Myself and Ty have South Florida straight up. Peso has San Jose State straight up, and Clips has South Florida plus 3.5. No Nick Nash, by the way, for San Jose State.
Thank you for telling me that. You South Florida straight up, because I was gonna go San Jose until you said that.
All right, next game we got is the Game Above Sports Bowl. Got Pittsburgh and Toledo. Pittsburgh is minus 6.5. Myself and Ty have Pittsburgh straight up. Peso has Pittsburgh minus 6.5, and Clip says Toledo plus 6.5.
I go Toledo straight up.
All right. All right, next one we got is the Rate Bowl. Got Rutgers and Kansas State. Kansas State is minus 6.5. Myself and Peso have Kansas State straight up. Ty has Rutgers plus 6.5, and Clip says Kansas State minus 6.5.
Kansas State straight up. Joel Embiid just got ejected for some BS.
That's good. I got the Spurs with the points tonight, so I'm cool with that. Next one we got is the Learning Tree. The Lending Tree Bowl. I'm sorry. Arkansas State against Bowling Green. Bowling Green is minus 8. Myself and Ty have Bowling Green straight up. Peso's got Bowling Green minus 8, and Clips has Arkansas State straight up.
One more time.
Bowling Green, Arkansas State. Bowling Green's minus 8.
Give me Bowling Green straight up.
All right. Okay, next one. It's the Armed Forces Bowl. We got Oklahoma against Navy. Oklahoma is minus 3. I have Navy straight up. Ty and Peso got Oklahoma minus 3, and Clip says Oklahoma straight up.
I'm gonna go Navy straight up.
Next one we got is the Birmingham Bowl. Georgia Tech against Vanderbilt. Georgia Tech's -2.5.
Georgia Tech straight up.
I'm
gonna go some time on that.
Peso got Georgia Tech straight up as well. I got a -2.5 and Peso.
Wemby got 6 blocks in 10 minutes. What
Who?
the-
Who
Seven.
does? Oh, Wemby. Yeah, and Ty and
It's been reported.
straight up.
Offensive coordinator Ben Johnson intrigued by the Bears head coaching job.
I heard they might go after Vrabel too. You said you want Georgia Tech straight up?
Yep.
All right. Next one we got is the Liberty Bowl. Texas Tech against Arkansas. Arkansas is -2. Myself, Ty, and Clips got Texas Tech straight up, and Peso has Texas Tech +2.
Texas Tech straight up.
All right, next game is the Holiday Bowl, Syracuse and Washington State. Syracuse is -16. Myself and Peso have Syracuse -16. Clips has Washington State, and Ty has Syracuse straight up. Washington State's only dressing about 24 players for this game, just
I
to head
got
up.
Syracuse straight up.
All right. Next game we got is the Las Vegas Bowl, Texas A&M against USC. Texas A&M is -3.5. Ty has Texas A&M straight up. I have USC straight up, and Peso and Clips has USC +3.5.
I'm gonna go USC straight up.
All right. Next one we got is the Fenway Bowl. We got UConn and North Carolina. North Carolina is -3. I have North Carolina -3. Ty and Peso have North Carolina straight up, and Clips has UConn +3.
Who's UConn going against again?
North Carolina.
I got NC straight up.
All right. All right, next one we got is the Pinstripe Bowl, Boston College and Nebraska. Nebraska's -2.5. Ty, Peso, and Clips all got Boston College straight up, and I got Nebraska -2.5.
I'll go Nebraska straight up.
All right. Next one we got is the New Mexico Bowl. We got Louisiana, TCU. TCU's -12.5. Myself, Ty, and Clips all have TCU straight up, and Peso has TCU -12.5.
TCU straight up.
All right. Next, we got the bowl that Colorado wanted to get to but couldn't get to, the Pop-Tarts Bowl. We got Iowa State versus Miami.
Miami straight up.
Yeah, Miami's -3. So Ty, Peso, and Musa got Miami, Florida straight up. Clips has Iowa State +3, and I got Miami -3. Next game we got is Miami, Ohio against Colorado State. I got Miami, Ohio's -3. I got Colorado State straight up. So does Clips, and Ty and Peso have Miami, Ohio -3.
I got Colorado State straight up.
Okay. Next one we got is the Military Bowl. We got East Carolina against NC State. NC State's -6. Ty and Peso got NC State straight up. Clips got NC State -6, and I got East Carolina straight up.
I'm gonna go East Carolina. No, NC State straight up, actually.
All right. Next game we got is the Alamo Bowl, BYU against Colorado. Colorado is -5. Ty and Peso got Colorado -5. Clip says Colorado straight up, and I'm going BYU. All right.
They ain't losing their last game.
The one thing I don't trust with them, man, is I know they say they're gonna play, but it's to be determined on. We'll see if everyone plays for both teams. Next game we got is the Independence Bowl. It was supposed to be Marshall, but they had to back out of the game. Louisiana Tech against Army. Army's -17.5. Myself, Ty, Peso, and Clips all have Army straight up.
I got Army straight up.
All right. And then the last bowl game we're picking this week is the Music City Bowl, Iowa against Missouri. Missouri is -3. Myself and Peso have Iowa straight up, and Ty and Clips have Missouri -3.
I'm gonna go Iowa straight up.
All right. Two NFL games we're adding on too that I forgot to pick yesterday. I apologize for that. Got the Saturday game, Chargers and the Patriots. Chargers are -4.5. Myself, Ty, and
Chargers
Peso
straight
all
up.
of the Chargers straight up. Okay. And last game is the Broncos and the Bengals. Bengals are -3. Myself and Ty got the Bengals -3, and Peso has the Broncos +3.
I'm gonna go Bengals straight up.
All right. And that's
I want to pick the Broncos, but I just don't. Last time I picked them, they wet the bed. I'm not.
Hey man, I'm rooting for the Bengals this game just because maybe the Dolphins can sneak in the playoffs. I doubt it, but you never know.
And that's a wrap. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Leave a comment down below on your thoughts on our picks for this week. Mike has the picks listed in the comments as well. He will put mines in there shortly after the show ends. Leave a comment on what you guys thought about the blind ranking. Should we keep doing it? Should we add some more nuances to it? Should it just be NFL included with the college football? However you guys want to do it, man. But make sure you leave a comment. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Hope you guys have a beautiful and safe holidays. We'll be back on the PICK6 on Sunday at our regular time at 11:15, and we're back with Grade A show on Saturday at 11. So, hope you guys have a great Christmas. We'll see you guys later on in this week. Have a blessed rest of your night. Peace.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Grade A.